Welcome back to the Raising Rock podcast. I am Elise and I am your host. This is episode 2 and we have something a little bit different planned that we will not do with future episodes, but we split up episode 2 into 4 short episodes. Each one is between 10 and 15 minutes. And we wanted to really dive deep into each value that ROCK stands for: respect, obedience, courage, and kindness. And we wanted to give each one its moment and really dive into each one. So you will find episode 2 in 4 parts. We are so excited that you are here on this journey with us. We think that there's really valuable life lessons and takeaways in each of our core values. So please tune into all 4 and enjoy what we have to share. So with that, on to the episode. All right, welcome back. Last but certainly not least. Kindness, the 4th value of Raising Rock: respect, obedience, courage, and kindness. So the Raising Rock definition of kindness is to strive always to be considerate of others' feelings, generous with your heart, and friendly to all. To all.
Yes. Again.
Not just to those that you feel like being friendly to.
Yep. Kindness is a lost art in our world and goes back to Jesus. We talked about Jesus. Jesus was kind.
He was so kind.
You know, he had
compassion. Was firm, but he was kind.
Yep. Interesting. Let me go through his definition. I want to hit on something that just came to mind. So it's to strive always to be considerate of others' feelings. We can't live in a world where only ourself matters. And we need to train our children to be outward focused. So much of what you'll see as a theme that comes out in some of the stuff we're working on is outward. We need to be very outward focused on others.
And not just outward focused because we want the acclaim and the praise for, oh, she's so spiritual. Like,
no.
She's so outward focused because Jesus
is
outward focused.
Right.
And Jesus, we want to be like Jesus. So if Jesus was kind to others, we want to be kind to others. If Jesus obeyed God, we want to be obedient to God.
Well, and we all know our kids we're born selfish. I mean, that just comes out.
We're born with this in nature.
So it's a battle to teach our kids to not be self-motivated, but to learn that they see those around them. They have eyes for the feelings of others. So that's part of that. Generous with your heart. Generosity when somebody's hurting, that you're generous with your compassion, generous with feeling the needs of those around you. I think that's a part of kindness.
And one of the Bible verses that we did for Rooted Monday. So we have a series on Instagram and it's called Rooted Monday. I don't think we've done this verse yet, but it's coming up and I forget where it is. But the prayer that goes alongside with the verse is, Lord, give me eyes to see others who are hurting.
Yep.
And I've been diligently praying that with my kids. Like, give me eyes to see someone in the grocery store that needs extra attention, or give me eyes to see someone who's hurting that I can bless and show love to. And it's like when you pray that prayer, like the Lord will answer it and he will give you eyes to see others that you can be generous with. And that's not just generous financially. That's generous with time, generous with prayer, generous with stopping and loving on that. Like,
when we go back to Papa, I have never my entire life known him to not be kind to anybody he sees.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are, where you are, he will be kind.
And like he will talk to anyone, almost to like a joke with the family of like, where's Papa? Oh, there's Papa. He's off sitting on a bench talking to
But he does it because he cares.
It's genuine.
About them.
He's not just...
He cares about everybody he sees.
Everybody he sees.
And friendly to all. It goes to Papa.
Yep.
Part of kindness is just being friendly. Part of kindness is just not being a grouch and being a grump. And part of it is super simple. Get up and put a smile on and be compassionate.
You had said you were going to go on.
Yeah, I was thinking about compassion. And so when sort of several things here, but ROCK, respect, obedience, courage, and kindness. I feel like almost everything falls under that.
Absolutely.
Compassion, it's a little bit, compassion probably kind of under the kindness component.
They're what, synonyms? Is that the right word? Compassion and kindness?
Kind of synonyms.
Synonyms?
Not antonyms. We'll go with synonyms.
Right? Isn't that a similar word?
We better not go down and
Guys,
down
that's
this
scary.
road.
I'm in
Yeah,
charge of
let's not.
homeschooling my children.
Okay. And I was thinking about compassion, and it came up with somebody who reacted to what I believe to be a wrong manifestation of an opinion.
Wait, you're not
Okay,
giving me
that
enough
makes
detail.
sense.
I'm not following.
Somebody put on something Facebook that I was very opposed to.
Somebody wrote a post on
A
Facebook that you
I was
saw
very
and you
opposed to.
disagreed
I was very
with.
opposed to their behavior.
Okay.
I was very opposed
Someone
to
you
their stand.
know, or
yes,
someone?
and they were doing it under the name of sort of godly and Christian people, and what they were standing for is a value I am vehemently opposed to.
Okay.
And somebody who I believe shares my value responded with a compassion
Got it.
reaction.
So
Not
didn't
alike,
agree with them,
didn't-
but
right,
compassionate
right.
of, oh, sorry you feel that way.
Which
or,
I have no problem really with that, but it really got me thinking about compassion. And there is there's an emotion and action of compassion that underneath it is righteousness. And you can stand for righteousness, again, going back to cancel culture and all that. You can stand for righteousness and be compassionate at the same time if you do it in line with God's word.
Yeah.
Versus compassion
That's
that
apathetic.
condones.
Or that becomes apathy. Yeah.
And
or that
and
causes apathy
embraces-
for
well, it just
sin.
says, yeah. So if I'm compassionate, I can't call you out. If I'm compassionate, I have to agree
and
with
that
you.
somehow that's being kind.
That's kindness and compassion. The true sense of compassion, the true sense of kindness is loving people enough to stand up for truth.
Yeah.
And so that's on a whole tangent, a whole nother thing, but it's really been on my mind this week about righteous compassion and condoning compassion.
Yeah.
And those are two very opposing
Yeah.
things.
Well, talking about going on tangents, and I've not read the book, so I can't I've just seen like social media clips about it. But Allie Beth Stuckey has a book called Toxic Empathy. And how empathy, like we think our culture has created empathy as being like a really righteous trait.
Right.
Like I'm empathetic.
Yes.
For
They're
this
suffering
person's
and they're
suffering, and that actually empathy can be really toxic.
Yep.
Because in your empathy, you can grow apathetic to sin,
Right.
and you can grow compassionate and empathetic to people's lifestyle choices or decisions
Right.
they're making or the sin that they're in. Be like, oh, it's okay.
well, same with our children.
I feel bad for you. Absolutely.
same that are
Absolutely.
compassionate heart towards their struggles, instead of saying, what is righteousness? What is truth? Yes, I'm compassionate, but I know this is hard for you, but we stand on the principles of God's word, and we're going to get through this.
Yeah.
And I am as compassionate as it comes, but I'm not going to condone what you did.
Well, because Proverbs, again, I don't have this committed to memory, but doesn't Proverbs talk about, like, if you don't discipline or you don't call out sin, like you
Right.
hate the person?
Right.
Like there's something to that of like, if you are so empathetic and compassionate to someone in sin that you condone their sin, you hate them.
Well,
like you
let's
need
carry
to
it to the furthest degree. Somebody left in their sin, if we believe what we say we believe, that hell is the end game of a rejection of
which
God,
we do believe that.
which is a rejection of God and God's ways. If we believe that to be like truth to the core, the only loving thing to do
Is to call
people out,
To call sin sin.
and to try to draw them in to the things of the Lord. That is compassion. That is love.
And I think that is where Christians get a bad rap and get called judgmental, is because they think, well, you're judging my choices. No, I'm calling sin. Only God can judge.
Absolutely.
I cannot judge you, but I also cannot in good conscience not call sin.
Well, and again, that compassion, we feel it's compassionate to condone.
Yeah.
Compassion is not to condone. That is so to just say, well, I have to accept them for what they are. I can't say anything. That I'm just compassionate. I can't help it. I'm just a compassionate person. No, that's being weak. Yeah. That is not being compassionate. I know we're
back
rambling.
to kindness.
Sorry.
Do we have another tangent to go down? Let's go
No,
down
I
it.
just wanted to share that story I shared with you this morning about Sue.
Oh.
Is that good place to wrap?
Yeah, let's end with Sue, because
Let's
she
end with Sue.
was the epitome of a rock.
She's another rock.
She was respectful, obedient, courageous, and kind.
So I'm going to tell you about
kind
Sue.
until the end.
Kind until the end.
How old was she?
94.
She died
Sue died yesterday. And the mother of a very dear friend of ours. And I've been thinking about a story that my friend told me. I talked to my friend yesterday. She was still in the room with her mom. Her mom had passed just a matter of minutes before I was talking to her. And she just said, I'm not ready to be away from her. I'm just sitting with her a little bit longer. And she's just so sweet. And I know she's with the Lord. And I was talking about that. And she got talking about the caregivers that had come into their home. And there was a hospice nurse that was there. And there was a woman that would come and would bathe Sue 2-3 times a week. And there were different people. And Sue started kind of losing some cognitive ability about 4 years ago. Her health was deteriorating. And she still exuded a sweetness and a kindness and a gratitude and compassion. And you talk about somebody that the light
Of Jesus is just in them.
came out of them. And I thought about, we sit here and we all wonder, well, who am I? I can't do anything great for God. Sue, who was mentally losing some of her ability, physically and everything, the people that came in would talk. Like people would say, is this a Christian home? Like they could feel it. They could sense it. And she ministered the love of Jesus till the moment she died. And that was
Even when she didn't have all
even
of her
when she didn't have
faculties.
anything,
Yeah.
because it
It was just it was her soul.
right. So any of us that say there's nothing we can do for the Lord, if Sue can minister for the Lord in those moments, we can. And I want to conclude with sort of the defining thing here with that. The day she died, her main hospice nurse and main caregiver, and then this woman, as I understand the story, who bathed her, must be what she does. She goes around and she bathes people that are at in-home care. Found out that Sue had died, and they all happened to be off. They all happened to be off that day, and they all wanted to be the ones to come to do the end of life things. I don't know what all those are, but I was particularly struck. I just started weeping, and I've cried so many times about this. I might make it through without crying now, but the woman who bathed her said, "It's my day off, but I'm coming. I want to bathe her. I want her to be, I want her to be clean when they take her." And on her own time, on her own thing, she came to bathe Sue. And in that is the essence of everything that we are for.
Yep.
We are living a life as a rock. Sue exemplified everything in that. She lived it till the moment she died. It's in the compassion for those we encounter in every situation. It's about showing such love that people wanted to come and serve her. They wanted to serve her even after she had died.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you take from that. It just says everything about who I want to be and the life I want to live and the legacy I want to live. And
what we want, the legacy we want to leave for our kids, and who
it just
we want
says
our
it
kids
all.
to be. It perfectly wraps it up.
I love you.
I love you.